If you're interested in the paranormal world, you've probably considered once in your life to summon an entity. Because how nice would it be to be able to talk to your deceased grandmother again, or a friend? Well, let's just say you have to be very careful with this. You never know who you will let into your house. Let's dive into the next story about Rachel and her friends. Their innocent sleepover takes a dark turn when they decide to try and play with the Ouija board. Little did they know that their curiosity would end in major trauma. Stick to the end and learn from this very scary experience. Welcome to your next Chills Before Sleep. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more scary stories. Don't forget to enable all notifications to join our weekly cash giveaway, pinned in the comments section. Hi guys, my name is Rachel, a senior in high school. I want to tell you a scary story that happened when I was in middle school. My friends Sheila and Kelly and I were having a sleepover one night. It was the first time having a sleepover after Kelly's grandmother died. She had been really upset the last few days and wanted us to come over for a girls' sleepover at her house. We had her hair in pigtails and were just discussing which movie we should watch when Kelly brought up this scary topic. "Do you guys know what a Ouija board is?" she asked with an excitement in her eyes. We both looked at her confused. "A Ouija board?" asked Sheila. "What is it?" She explained to us what a Ouija board is. It's a flat board marked with the letters of the alphabet, numbers, and some words like yes and no, along with various symbols and graphics. It uses a planchette as a movable indicator to spell out messages during a seance. Participants place their fingers on the planchette, and it is moved around the board to spell out words. I had to agree that sounded really fun. I was excited to try it, and so was Sheila. We were always curious about the paranormal world. We saw Kelly disappear out of the room and come back with her Ouija board in her hand. We were shocked to say the least. Kelly told us that she wanted to contact her grandma. We weren't very confident that it would work, but we decided to try anyway. This definitely was a part of her mourning, so we decided to humor her. Kelly gave us some candles and told us to light them. We did that as she set up the Ouija board on the floor. When the candles were lit, the atmosphere seemed spooky and mystical, absolutely perfect for a seance. Sheila and I both got down and sat on either side of Kelly. We put our hands on the planchette. Together we passed the planchette over hello twice. Then Kelly asked a question. "Is anyone there?" To my horror and surprise, the planchette immediately began to move, and moved to yes. We laughed nervously and looked at each other to see if someone was pulling a joke here. "Are either of you moving it?" Kelly asked both of us. We were quick to say no. Kelly laughed out loud and began crying. "It's Grandma," she said, as if relieved. Kelly told us to help her spell something out. Together we spelled out a question. "Are you my grandma?" The planchette was then instantly pulled towards no. We were all confused. Then out of nowhere, the planchette moved and spelled out a word. J-E-R-R-Y. Jerry. We looked at each other anxiously and didn't know what to do. We asked this new entity what he wanted to do with us, but we received no answer. We were very cold and all of our hearts were pounding. Kelly decided to ask the entity again, "Why are you here?" And the planchette began to move. K-I-L-L. kill. We were shocked to see this response. Kelly was too serious to be playing a joke on us, and I was sure that neither I nor Sheila had moved the planchette. We were truly scared now. We decided that this was getting out of hand. We tried to move the planchette across goodbye to end the seance, but the spirit wouldn't let go. It felt like someone was physically holding the planchette back and not allowing us to actually move it. Kelly was crying by now. Sheila and I were dumbfounded. We had no idea what was happening. We didn't even believe in all this stuff, but I had no idea who was doing this. We tried to move the planchette over goodbye again and again, but it just won't happen. The spirit won't let us. Kelly stood up and snatched the Ouija board up. She seemed really agitated and afraid. She took the board and went out of the room with it. She came back to the room looking really upset. "Let's never talk about this again," she said. She broke into tears, and we tried our best to console her. After an hour of sobbing and shaking, she finally slept, and so did we. It was not a peaceful night, however, because we kept hearing knocking and scratching all night. We were too scared to go up and investigate them, though. The next day, we woke up and left the room we had been sleeping in. As I was making my way down the stairs, I heard Sheila yelling, and I ran back to her. I saw what she was seeing, and it made me scream out as well. There were deep scratch marks on the door. I really hoped Kelly wouldn't notice them, because we knew she would get freaked out even more. I felt a little afraid for my friend because we let the spirit enter her house. Sheila and I went back home, but we told Kelly to call us if anything felt wrong, since her parents weren't going to come back till the evening. We didn't feel comfortable staying in the house anymore because we felt like someone was constantly watching us. I went back to my house, and that felt a lot better. The air of creepiness was gone, and I didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. The next day in school, Kelly looked horrible. She looked very distressed. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she kept hearing noises at night so she couldn't sleep. The portal had not been closed, and something had come out of it, something that was still terrorizing her. We decided to do something to cure it. We met up after school at Kelly's house, and we burned the Ouija board in her backyard. We thought this would be the end of all of her problems, but this wasn't true at all. We thought things would improve, but they didn't. The ghost or demon or whatever kept on terrorizing our friend. She would come to school looking sleep-deprived and groggy. One night, the entity had even scratched her arm. Enough was enough. Her parents decided to move away from the town. They decided a fresh start in a new high school was what Kelly needed to recover. We were very upset to see our old friend go, but we were happy that she'd be able to get away from whatever was haunting her. Recently, something happened that made me remember this story. There was a news report of two girls sneaking inside Kelly's old house on a dare to do another seance. This reminded me of Kelly and everything she went through. The girls who had sneaked inside the house weren't found again. I decided to search up the history of the house, and I uncovered something absolutely shocking. About 6 decades earlier, a man named Jerry used to live in that house. Around that time, a lot of women went missing from that town, and Jerry was the main suspect in the case. However, Jerry died from a heart attack before any actions could be taken against him. I understand it now. The spirit we had awakened and given permission to come to this world was of the old Jerry, and he was a mean, psychopathic man who could have possibly killed a lot of women. I decided to sneak into the house to investigate and find if the missing girls were stuck inside the house. I took Sheila with me. We got inside the house through an open window, and the first room we entered was Kelly's old room. It did bring back a lot of old memories for us, but we decided to not let emotions overwhelm us. We kept hearing other tapping noises inside the house, coming from the basement. We decided to check it out. As we heard the knocking noises, we descended the stairs and entered the basement. The noises were coming from beneath the wooden floors. I told Sheila to call the police, but before she could use her phone, the entity slammed her to the ground, knocking the phone out of her hand. I tried to run to help her, but something was holding me. I started losing breath, and I felt like I was going to pass out. We screamed and were fighting for our lives, and then all of a sudden, it was gone, and there was complete silence. We wanted to get out as fast as we could, so we ran to the first door we saw, the basement. We ran in a panic and didn't see half of the stairs were missing. I fell to the ground and Sheila was able to just stop in time. I screamed as I saw dozens of skeletons down there, but I was also comforted as I saw 2 living girls. They tried to calm me down. Sheila came to our rescue and pulled all 3 of us out of the hole in the ground. We called the police. They uncovered about 14 bodies from the ground, all matching the women who had disappeared all those years ago. The 2 living girls were taken to the hospital and then reunited with their families. I was happy we could save them in time. I hope the women who lost their lives to the hands of that cruel man are at peace now. Next year, I will probably leave this town for college along with Sheila, but I don't think I'll ever be able to forget what happened. If you want my advice, then all I can say is, don't mess with the paranormal world. They can give entry to something truly dark and demonic inside your house. Thank you for watching this video. Have you experienced a similar situation or another scary experience? Don't hesitate to submit your story by email or in the comments section down below. Ready for your next chills before sleep? Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more scary stories. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to enable all notifications. Be the first one to get the chills.